TNA Hard Justice 2007. Man, oh man. Yeah, I could sit here and make jokes. I can make ha-has. Like I can reach in there and tickle your eardrums a little bit, but I mean, Black Rain, Doomsday, Chamber of Blood, a loser gets tarred and feathered match. We got Kurt Angle's wife cheating on him for the first time. We got the Steiners and the Dudleys arguably having one of the matches of the night, if that tells you. There's so much to get into, man. What a fever dream of a program. So you better sit right there and just soak it all in right here on the Apron Bump Podcast.
It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get started.
What's up, everybody? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I am your host, the hardest part of the ring, Kyle. How's everybody? Got a hiccup? That was a burp. Surprise burp. How's everybody doing? Boy, howdy, we got some TNA on our hands this week on the program, and it is I laid it out there in the cold open, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. We are full Vince Russo, late 2007 here. I mean, it is just the TNA memes, right? We've all heard the jokes and the kind of the reputation that TNA has today. We make all the memes, TNA LOL, old guys coming in, taking spots from the young guys, goofy gimmick matches, but with some good wrestling sprinkled in. And this show, Hard Justice 2007, is the perfect encapsulation of all of that. So you picked a good episode, ladies and gentlemen, to tune into. So we're going to get right into it, man. Like I said, the main event, well, actually, I didn't say this, but the main event, all the titles are on the line. Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. And you might be asking yourself, hardest part of the ring, didn't they just do this shit at the last pay-per-view? They certainly did. Hypothetical listener, they certainly did. It was a tag match. It was a little bit different, but once again, we have a TNA pay-per-view where every single title is on the line in one match. Therefore, all the other matches have no titles, so we got to come up with stakes. We got to come up with weird stories, and we got some debuts on this show. We got some first time ever and only time ever matches. Test. It's just a crazy time, man. Black Rain. Whew. Old Dustin Rhodes. One of his not so spectacular gimmicks. We got, Doomsday, Chamber of Blood. What is that? We'll get into it. Barroom brawls with some good X Division. It's like a roller coaster, but it's like when you're playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and you take out some of the segments in the roller coaster and the people just go flying into the abyss, into a fiery blaze. That's kind of what this show is. So strap in. Doesn't matter if you're strapped in, you're still going to perish from this roller coaster ride. But speaking of perish, I perished the thought of not enjoying a podcast with Charlie from the GETCHO podcast, kinda. Returns to the show, always a funnel time with my boy Charles. Go check out Charlie and the GETCHO podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube, live on YouTube, Twitch, Tout, Periscope, all that stuff. And also you can find Charlie under the bridge selling Skittles or whatever. I don't know what he does. But follow him on social media. He's a good follow on social media. Find all of that in the description. Find all of my stuff in the description as well at Apron Bump on all the social medias. If you've not been keeping up with my X or other socials, you might not realize I've been doing live shows every Sunday where we play old wrestling games, we talk some wrestling, and we did some tier lists in the previous live stream as of this recording. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube as well as Twitch. I've barely used my Twitch, but we're using it now. So go give it a follow. YouTube, give it a subscribe. OnlyFans, give it a poke. Do all those things. And join the Discord. What else? What else is there? I think that about covers it now. hey, you like this kind of episode? You like TNA? Are you interested in this wacky universe of total nonstop action? Well, I implore you to go check out the entire catalog of shows that I've covered, starting from their very first 3-hour pay-per-view in 2004 and worked my way through 04, 05, 06, and right here in 07, August 07. So there's a lot of TNA in the library. So go check it out, covering it all chronologically with various guests. It's been a good old time. So go check that out. Let's get into it, baby. TNA Hard Justice, 2007, with myself and Charlie from the GETCHO podcast. Not a lot of good things about this show, though, man. Hard Justice. What'd you think about it, dude?
It wasn't horrible.
You sure?
But then in my opinion, it wasn't horrible. I would give it 4.5 stars.
Out of what?
10. Anyway, well, it's like my shot at like Meltzer too, where it's like everyone uses his star ratings as gospel, where it's like, hey, it's just one man's opinion. Chill out, guys. It's like,
well, this show's got a 3.68 on Cage Match, so you're not far off.
Whoa, wait, 3.6. Whoa. So
that was no, because when I like take notes on these shows, I always go to Cage Match, copy paste the card, and then paste it into Apple, and then just have it on my phone there. So I didn't look at any of the results or anything, but when I opened it up, that's the first thing I saw was this big red 3.68. I was like, oh shit, what am I about to get into? So,
wow, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it was like, anyway, we'll get into it, but it wasn't like horrible. Like,
I thought a lot of it was okay, but I think a lot of the underlying like creative decisions or like gimmicks, or I feel like the crowd was very dead throughout the entire show too, for the most part.
That was true. That 100% was true. I was sitting there like, did they pay these guys to be here or whatnot? But anyway,
I think they might have, or at least it was free tickets for some. I don't know.
I from what I thought, like those were always free tickets to those Orlando shows. Where it's like you pay the price of admission to get in, and then like, hey, look, there's a freak show wrestling match over there.
There's Fat Goldust.
Oh,
black and white.
Don't get me started on Goldust and that mother.
Oh, we'll get started. We'll get all into them. We'll get
let's do it.
BBC into them.
I mean, or like, LAC. Let's get that LAC in there.
LAC, little Asian cock. Let's touch Asian cocks.
I gotta get really close to my screen then. But anyway.
Oh, you're uncut, man.
Uncut gems. Shout out Adam Sandler.
Speaking of Adam Sandler, a lot of the show is revolving around Adam Pacman Jones, which is why I brought him up earlier. He's newly signed to TNA at this point, and he's going to be making his debut on this show, if you want to call it that. Which we'll get into the segment with Truth later and stuff. But the show opens up with like a video package highlighting Adam Jones, and it showed like all the interviews he's done for like the media with like Jeff Jarrett by his side and all that stuff. I mean, I can't remember. Were you watching TNA at this point?
Yeah. No, but I remember watching ESPN and seeing Pacman Jones show up. So I started watching TNA because of it, actually. So whatever they're trying, it worked on me. It worked on me at least. But then actually watching the product, I stopped watching again. So
it was a weird time to jump in at this point. That's for sure.
I was just driving, looking at the car wreck, and then just keep driving.
Right. But I mean, I was gonna ask if it was worth it, but I guess it was, and because I'm not too familiar with the Pac-Man fella. They're building him up as this like the most controversial athlete alive. So I did my research and like, why is he so controversial? And like I said, it's just a laundry list. Like July of 2005, charges of assault and vandalism. September of 2005, like marijuana possession. And then it's like a bunch of like nightclub, strip club assault, like related things. Like there's one, he like spit on a stripper like a few times. There's like a few different cases where he's like getting belligerent and spitting on the strippers.
Maybe she was on fire.
That's actually a good point. I did not look into it. So maybe he was just trying to help. That's actually a really good point.
Oh no! Like he sounds like a lot of fun to hang out with, up until a point. Like maybe like after like 2 a.m. I'll probably like get out of the bar because like some shit's gonna happen at 2:01.
Yeah, 2 a.m.'s. I mean, the second he says, "Hey, let's go to the bar or the club," I'd be like, "Nah, you go ahead." Because so what this show is like, I think it's May of 07, I think. Hard Just, or no, it's like whatever, summer of 07. And in February of that year, there was like a nightclub shooting where he, I don't know if you remember the story at all. It was like, I copied it. There's just so much. I'm trying to like siphon through like all the stuff. He just got mad at some point and like he was throwing bills at the dancers, but the dancers were trying to pick it up. But then he was like, "Nah, that's my money. You can't take it." And then one of his security guard, they kicked him out. And then one of his security guards came back with a gun and then shot 3 people. And then the whole thing is like, does Adam know the guard? And it's a whole thing. So pretty easy. He seems like a bad dude. This Pacman.
You know, sometimes life is about adjustments. So, like, for instance, if you ever watch Married with Children, the Al Bundy, if you had all you had to do was put a string on that Benjamin, so you launch
this
all
guy,
that.
This guy's been to a few strip clubs in his day.
Just reel it in.
You almost had
that money. You can see him. It's like a guy walking like 9 dogs in a row. You see a bunch of like bills just like, with like just like pulling like all these.
I mean, as recent as like last November, he's still been doing shit. Like he got in a fight at the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. So there's no helping this guy. He's still alive.
No one fought that night.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like
Thank
that.
You.
Touch my fist. Touch my fist.
Yeah,
they didn't touch fists. Anything.
Pacman was betting on if someone would get knocked out. It's like hit somebody. I'll do it. Yeah.
You're joking, but like maybe there's some betting stuff in his past too. So he's a mover and shaker. This Pacman fella.
That was one of my conquests. I actually picked it to go to decision, and that helped me out a lot. I was like, yes, stay further away from him. Don't worry about it. Don't hit him. Don't hit him.
What about the Jake Paul Logan Paul fight? Well, what's your bet going to be on there? It's got to be another decision, right?
I want to say like Jake Paul knockout, because I'm trying to think of something where it's gonna be fixed no matter what it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if everyone's gonna say, hey, they're gonna like dance around each other, no, it's gonna be big brother knocks out little brother.
Yeah, they got to make it spectacular. That they've probably heard the scuttlebutt about the Tyson fight, and they're like, we got to make this exciting so that they keep buying the pay-per-views or whatever.
Because they know they're self-aware. Like, hey, people are saying, oh, he's only fighting like washed-up fighters. It's like, all right, let's give them something where it's like, okay, a young fighter. Oh, maybe my brother.
Logan's he's WWE, so he's gonna bring in a steel chair at some point. He's gonna be doing Canadian destroyers in the match. It's gonna be a whole thing.
It'll be botchy, like spots that shouldn't happen, and then like LA Knight might be involved, and
it's not out of the possibility.
You see like in the front row for some reason Drew McIntyre throwing a fit.
This fucking guy. Well, we'll keep tabs on that. But hey, there's some wrestling on the show too, I think.
I mean, you could have fooled me. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, this opening match it's a pretty good cast of characters. We got the team. It's a triple threat tag team match. We got Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt versus the Motor City Machine Guns versus Triple X, represented by Christopher Daniels and Senshi with Loki or other known as Loki.
The worst false advertisement I've ever seen.
Triple X.
If I know Triple X is going to be happening at the show, I better not be seeing Senshi and Christopher Daniels running out there.
Pacman Jones and porn. I'm buying Hard Justice. I mean, Hard's in the name.
Starring the flotation floozy.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, that's Jesus. This show is just a fucking constant bludgeoning over the head. I mean, it's just we'll get into it, but why are they called Triple X, by the way? Do you happen to know?
I think it's because 3 X Division guys.
Oh, that actually makes a lot. I thought it was that, some of them looked like Vin Diesel. So it was like, oh, maybe that's what they're going with. If you combine all of them, I think you get Vin Diesel.
2 guys look like Uncut Gems.
Yeah,
Any other? I don't know. But all right, let's next stat from the record. So anyway, this match was awesome.
That's a Raven. So we got we got that to talk about too. This show just keeps on hitting. This is an okay opening match here. Just like some pre-match notes. This is like this is the debut of the Machine Guns as like not their debut as a team, but this is their debut with the music and everything and the matching attire. So this is like the very beginning of the Machine Guns, which is fun. Elix Skipper's there with Triple X in his wrestling trunks and boots and kick pads and elbow pads. He's not in the match, but he's prepared to wrestle, I guess. Maybe he just doesn't have street clothes. I don't know what the situation is. He also had tearaway pants. He could have just kept the pants on. Why'd he tear them away?
I mean, seeing a bunch of guys wrestling in oil, whatever. Pants are gonna come off anyway.
Very good point, actually. Yeah.
You know how like valets just come out, like they'd be dressed up in like clothes that you would never wear in public. He's just doing the same thing. He's just in character, Yeah.
He's being slutty with it, is what you're saying.
I mean, can't complain.
No. Speaking of slutty, we got it cuts to after the match gets started. It cuts to ringside where there's 2 empty chairs, 2 reserved seats that say Karen Angle and guest. Who did you think the guest was going to be when you saw this?
It wouldn't have mattered to me if I saw 2 pieces of paper. I would just rip that shit off and just sit there.
You would have sat there.
It looked legit, right? It's just somebody who wrote in Times New Roman,
right?
Big letters. Because now it's legit. I had no idea who that guest was to be, and like I'm glad I didn't even try to do a guess because either way I was gonna be disappointed. I was like, I had no idea.
Well, we'll find out later, folks. Yeah. That's just a little tease right there.
Oh, Jeff Jarrett.
But the match, not yet.
Right.
Well, maybe actually. I don't know. 6 really talented dudes in this match. The match is pretty good. I mean, it really kicked in towards the end. It felt like I don't know, like a bento box sampler of what each of these guys is capable of. But I thought it was ultimately it was all right. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, I mean the bento box. The best part is usually the rice and the meat in the middle. The rice and meat in the middle in this case was like there's this one spot during the match where it was like a bunch of like how like a lot of matches they do like spot after spot after spot and you can't go and you're like oh and then there's this one part I don't know if I'm describing it correctly but like I think it's okay, so Daniels has somebody on his shoulders and then Senshi jumps off the dude, hits a double stop on another dude.
Yes.
Right. And then Chris Daniels still holding some guy up, hits a KOD on his ass. Right. Mm-hmm. And then he goes for a near fall and where everybody in the match goes to break up that fall. And then all of a sudden the crowd just loses their mind. And you see
that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's one of those things like a part of a match where it's like organic, where like you can't help but be hyped when you see the crowd makes the match. Imagine seeing that like in the COVID area and a bunch of people in their TV screens are like choppy going like that's right. So that was my rice and teriyaki salmon right there.
Right. Well, it had some crab rangoons in there too, like Sanjay Dutt. Is that racist? No, Sanjay Dutt I thought was a highlight of this match. I thought the stuff he was doing was super crisp, like the old school Hurricane Rana deal he did off the top rope. And then there was one point where he did like a tornado DDT followed by a standing shooting star, which sounds kind of mundane, but the way it was just so crisp, the way he did it, it was so good. It's underrated.
That was his Amazing Brown moment.
What?
Amazing Red, the wrestler Amazing Red?
Oh,
that joke has layers.
Amazing Brown. Oh boy.
Hey, you set it up. I spike it down today.
Well, we got amazing. Oh, okay.
By the way, I'm sorry about that joke.
We got Elix. I was gonna say something about Elix Skipper, but I'm just gonna not say that. Elix Skipper he interferes at some point with a rope walk. What's up? Is that Loki?
Do it. No, God.
Is that Loki chiming in?
Elix, it's your turn. Your spot now.
He's still trying to rekindle the magic of that walking the cage spot, and that's like the only thing he does. And he does it here into a Hurricane Run off the top rope, which looked kind of good. It looks good half the time he does it. And that burning hammer stomp combination spot that you brought up was probably the highlight of this whole match. Towards the end, Triple X goes for like a Uranagi. Daniels goes for a Uranagi so that Low Ki can stomp him. But Lethal knocks Daniels into Low Ki, sending Ki out. And then small packages Christopher Daniels and gets the win. So Lethal and Dutt get the win. This might have been a number 1 contenders match for the X Division title. I can't remember, but if not officially, it's got to lead to something. I would assume. That's one thing. By the way, one thing we haven't mentioned is that all the titles are on the line in the main event. So there's no title matches throughout the show, which I think kind of hinders a lot of things. But yeah, it was a solid opener for what it was.
It's like, how the hell are you gonna have a title match for 9 titles? I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
From other promotions too. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Shout out AEW. But that finish, I figured that's like, it was really smooth. You know, it happened really quickly, but at the same time, when you got like 6 people in a match who's constantly breaking up pinfalls, and you got some guy on the outside too, Fluke like knocked somebody out of the ring and then roll up was a perfect ending. So that match, great. I loved it.
And I've said this before. I feel like the X Division at this point is like the sweet spot in history where it's like they're doing crazy spots, but they also like the first like big chunk of this match is kind of like methodical, and it's like the heels beating down on the baby faces, and which made that stomp burning hammer deal like so impactful, which is why the crowd was so into it and why they were so into it towards the end, and it had like a sensible finish. So I thought everything about this match was good. Yeah. But man,
couldn't agree more.
It only downhill from there, because we go backstage. You got Jeremy Borash backstage looking to get the scuttlebutt, because it's going to be Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe for all the titles in the main event. So JB goes into Samoa Joe's locker room, where he finds not Samoa Joe, but he finds Karen Angle and what seems to be Chris Daughtry with her on the couch, on the casting couch, giving some angel kisses and canoodling, perhaps. What'd you make of this there, Charles?
I mean, I thought Jeremy Borash was funny at this point, because his reaction was pretty good, where he just takes his drink and just like knocks it down. I think it was I forgot what he was drinking, but
yeah, Karen handed him champagne. He's like, join in. There's a cock chair right there for you, Jeremy.
It was like, here, move Jim Cornette. I'll sit here. Anyway,
Jim Cornette is there. He's like the general manager, so that makes sense. That tracks.
Now slow down. Yeah, no, it was just there. I had no real reaction to it. I mean, it's like, where are they going? Where are they going with this? I mean, I guess, you know, they're in Samoa Joe's locker room, so he must have something to do with it. He wants to distract Kurt Angle. Go great, whatever.
Yeah. It's all translating to you. I think that's what they're doing.
He's got a big brain in that big old, you know, muscular body of his. So
right. I think this might have been Kurt's brother, perhaps. I don't know from how familiar you are with the Angle siblings.
I had no idea. So you heard it here first. Kurt's brother is American Idol winner Chris
Daughtry.
I didn't think about his name again. I'm sorry.
It's not over. It's not over.
Oh, boo.
What are there some other Chris Daughtry songs? They're going home. Is Daughtry still around? I feel like I haven't heard about him in a while.
I think he did First of the Month and California Love. He did In the Club.
Well, he
might be in the club with many people who's been with Karen Jarrett, apparently.
I mean, it's just it's a who's who. It's a laundry list. You're talking about Pacman Jones's laundry list. Boy, howdy. Well, speaking of, I don't think anybody has talked about Michael Shane more than me and you.
Yeah. And I can't get away from him. That's the first thing. I was taking notes on the match, and the first thing I said was, I can't get away from this motherfucker.
This goddamn. By the way, he hasn't really been involved in a long time, but now that you're here, he's like, oh, I guess I gotta be a part of this show.
Well, he didn't really try too hard.
Well, fuck, what is his name? Martyr, I think, is what he's going by now. Yeah. Because he's a part of Serotonin, which is Raven's faction. It's Raven, Martyr, Havoc, who's Johnny Devine, and it used to be Kaz was a part of that, but Kaz Kazarian decided he's his own man. He broke away from serotonin, and now he's here to fight the evildoer that is Raven. But Raven he offers him a spot back in the group, but Kaz is like, nah, you guys don't win any matches. Kill yourself, bitch. And then
what if he had just joined them? Like, was that Raven's plan? You know what I mean? I want you to join me right now. He'd be like, okay.
When you put it that way.
And then they walk to the back.
That was my thought. They all get in their fucking wrestling gear and they all have kendo sticks. And then what if it was just like, hey, actually, you just want to not fight? Like, yeah, let's do it.
Like, I guess not. And then play his music.
Also, there was a sign that said Sero Jabronin.
Nice.
What are your thoughts on that? Rated out of 10.
4.5 stars.
Yeah, it's generous. Generous.
That's these fans. I mean, I'm glad. You know, have you ever been to a wrestling event that has someone with a sign in front of you?
Yes. Yes.
I've fortunately has never happened to me, and like I always thought about what would I do if someone's blocking me the whole fucking night just to get themselves over and be like, Billy was here, you know, like
right. It's and Sero Jabronin. If I'm losing eyesight because of that fucking sign,
no, that's worth it. That's bars right there. Eminem, shout out, like hell yeah.
Yeah, there's an attempt there, I guess. Yeah, I guess I can appreciate it.
Oh my God.
Well, we got Raven here, Fatso Raven, versus Kazarian, and it was whatever. I mean, a lot of this is, you know, the fucking Tweedledee and Tweedledum on the outside, like miscommunicating and accidentally hitting each other, accidentally hitting Raven, all that stuff. Got some Lucha Raven in this match randomly. He does like victory rolls and like does like a poetry in motion, like jumping drop kick off of his partner. It was crazy stuff in this match, but I don't know. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, he pulled out all the tricks in his bag because, yeah, like you said, he did that poetry in motion. But half the match, he couldn't get his leg up to do a real kick. Right? He was. So it was. The match was just there. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and like once again, like it looked like Michael Shane wasn't trying because like it looks like he just wore what he wore to the actual event and just put red paint on his face. You know, like. You and I could have done that and just call ourselves martyr. You know,
I had the same thought. I was like, he's not very he's just Michael Shane.
Yeah, it's just Michael Shane with the red. Like it's like, hi, I'm Michael Shane. Not anymore with this red mark on my face.
You thought you knew me. Oh.
Yeah, well, you know, it was pretty bad. But the main thing that I wanted to say about this match was it was short.
Yeah.
So that was good. But here's another thing. It goes back to like one of my pet peeves in wrestling, where it's like you're doing a bunch of like you're distracting the ref, so you don't want to get disqualified, right? Like, and then you know, of course, these serotonin boys are just like, you know, fucking up left and right. But Raven takes a kendo stick and completely brains Kaz right in front of the ref. So you're sitting there like doing all these distractions, and then like. I don't know where he just don't give a shit, just hits him, and the match still keeps going. I think the match kept going, right? This match didn't end in DQ, did it? No,
I had that in my notes too. I said,
okay.
Raven hits him with a kendo stick. I guess it's no DQ, question mark?
Okay, good. So it's just, it happens way too often where it's like, if there's a disqualification, then get disqualified, put it over. Like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, especially in a match like you said, a match like this where there's so much distracting the ref and so much shit going on. I guess it's hard to keep track of it at some point, and I don't know, wires get crossed. But ultimately, though, Raven goes for his even flow DDT, but Kaz counters it, runs Raven into Michael Shane, knocks him off the apron, and then Kaz hits this weird like pump kick to Raven for the win. What'd you think of that finish? It was kind of like a Claymore, but a little different. I thought it was okay, but I think he has so much more like impressive stuff in his arsenal.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're trying to get a new finisher over. But another thing too is like when you got a guy who looks like Raven at that point, you can finish him with anything.
He just turns to dust if you touch him.
All you have to do is just like just throw his crack pipe up to the window. You're good.
And then you get a count out. He's distracted.
You lose by like what's that word I'm trying to say? Where you damn it, never mind. The jokes are
No,
better
we
when I
got
get
this.
the
We
word.
got this. No, we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
nail it.
The word I was thinking about is withdrawal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dynamite.
All I gotta do is edit everything out and it's like lose by withdrawal.
I'll make it seamless. Nobody will even know the difference. Don't you worry.
Well, answer me this. So Raven's flock, right? Serotonin. Does he have like any other like these like? Because it's the same faction, except just different names. It's just Raven just sitting around and like with a bunch of like flunkies or like mid card guys who got nothing to do, or Billy Kidman. So you know what I mean? It's like.
Well, I'm not too familiar with that era of WCW. But I will say that Serotonin's just dogs. I mean, they don't do anything. I mean, they're just they don't win matches. They're a jobber tag or faction, and with not a lot of identity to it. Like in the beginning, it was like almost kind of cool because Raven had like a white suit and he had like the fucking Marty Skrull mask, whatever the hell, and it had like some differentiation between that and the flock. But then ultimately, they just got lazy with it. I think and it's like. Michael Shane isn't doing anything. Johnny Devine isn't doing anything. They're just fucking thrown together and they'll lose faction matches, I guess. So that was this whole match. The foundation of it was Serotonin lore, but nobody gives a fuck about the faction. So nobody really gave a fuck. I think people kind of like Kaz at this point. Kaz is pretty sick and Raven's Raven. He has name value, I guess. But the faction didn't really hold a lot of weight at this point.
I guess, you know what? Yeah, that's next match. That's all I got to say.
Nothing else to say about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got JB. Jeremy Borash is back. Don't you worry, everybody. He goes into Kurt Angle's locker room, I believe, and Kurt's sad because on Impact he brought his wife and his kids to the show. Throughout the show, he's belittling his wife, calling her fat, saying she has cottage cheese, thunder thighs, all that stuff. And then ultimately, Karen gets fed up, and she says, "I want a divorce." This is all on Impact, like a few weeks before this show. So Kurt is still distraught about it. He has his championship belts, his gold medals, but he's lost his wife, so he's very sad. And then JB's here. He's like, "Hey, Kurt, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I saw your wife and another man, another bald guy with Karen." And Kurt's like, "Where are they?" So that's the running thread throughout the show. So more on that later, I guess. Kurt's going to see what Chris Daughtry is up to, porking his gal. But speaking of porking, we got a barroom brawl match on our hands here. Rhino versus James Storm with Jackie Moore ringside with James Storm. Man, where do we begin here? So they had a match at the last pay-per-view where they're playing off of Rhino's previous alcoholism, I guess. Where James, he like poured beer on Rhino and he went berserk and it like spiked memories in his past. He lost his family because of booze and it's just a dark time in his life. And James Storm just trying to bring this back up. He's trying to ruin him. So now and then James is like, "God damn, just drink a beer," or whatever. And I mean, what did you think of this? I mean, the scene, the barroom brawl. There's like a bar ringside. It's a fake mannequin. There's beer bottles. There's liquor bottles. What'd you make of all this?
I mean, I don't know what bars you've been to, but all the bars that I've been to does have a random toilet seat outside the bathroom.
Right.
So yeah, well, so I mean, it was pretty legit at that point. After I saw that, I'm like, oh, the attention to detail is just money. I'll take it. Like
you gotta appreciate it.
Like the best part of the match was the vignette. I would have been happy if they just showed the vignette and then like just fast forward to the ending, you know, because like there's some like gems in there where James Storm was like, he was saying like, "Hey, I drink, I'm good."
Right. He like takes a sip of his beer, like, "Look, no problems,
I'm good." And then there's this other part where he's like, I think he said something along the lines of like, "Stop running your head into my beer bottle" or something like that.
He's so good.
So I was sitting there like, all right, you know, that's some funny shit. And and on top of that, Rhino brought it. His promo during this match or this vignette was like it you know, it did what it's supposed to do. It made you want to watch the match. Like, all right, he's pissed. This could be some high intensity stuff. Then you watch the match, you're like, fuck. So it was kind of rough and like, yeah, I'll let you talk about the match because yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, it's a lot of plunder. It's kind of like a running theme throughout the show. It's just like a bunch of they're just doing stuff. I feel like there's ladders, tables, trash cans, chairs. They're laying it in, but the whole thing. So the running. So like the backstory I laid out. Rhino's the babyface. James Storm's the heel. I'm going into this match thinking, okay, Rhino he's going to be tested. He's going to see the booze. James Storm is trying to get into his head with like laying out all these liquor bottles and the kegs, and James Storm's going to try to take advantage of it. But Rhino, he's not going to let hit that poison touch his sanctum again. He's not going to succumb to these vices. He's not going to succumb to temptation. And then Rhino's going to he's going to overcome. He's going to gore James Storm, and it's going to be a happy ending. But as not what happens. What happens is that Rhino does succumb to these vices again. He sees a beer on the bar, chugs the beer, and then this is like incites rage in him. He's like, that's like the whole story. He like sees the alcohol, he takes a sip, and then he's like rabid on James Storm. He's like, there's a keg ringside, and he's taking the keg to the face. And then commentary is like, oh, it just smells like booze. Oh, it is boozy in here. And then like as the match progresses, Rhino keeps taking sips of alcohol throughout the match in between like chair shots and whatever. And then at some point, Rhino like gores himself through a table, which the implication is that he's drunk. So he like doesn't have like the timing or whatever. And he's just like blind with rage, and that the alcohol is like clouded as whatever. So, and then James Storm ends up getting the win with a concerto and then a beer bottle to the back of the head. So, alcohol wins again is really the main takeaway here.
If you had been a writer for TNA, I would definitely watch it more because like that would have made way more sense than what we just watched. Because exactly, like, what are we trying to? What's the overall thing here? The guy gets past alcoholism, which is like one of them. That's an amazing thing to do, just for him to relapse in a match.
Yeah, like, are we supposed to like sympathize with Rhino?
Exactly.
Like, no, asshole,
Exactly.
You decided to do this.
Exactly. The whole match I could think of, like, man, these guys are shaped like a thumb. This is like a human thumb wrestling match.
Both of them are, you think?
I mean, James Storm's closest to like any other guy in the roster when you think about it.
I guess, yeah.
So I feel like I'm just watching like this is my recap.
Wrestling.
This is my recap of the match. Drink. But it was pretty bad. This is when you say that there's 3.68 on the on Cage Match, was it?
Yeah.
So I mean, this probably brought it down. It could have been like all like 8-star matches, and then this match, and like, all right, but I'm happy I watched it. You know why? Because in the beginning of the match, Rhino takes a chair and flings it at James Storm and wildly misses, and it goes into the crowd. So the commentators are trying not to put over the fact that some like little like Make-A-Wish kid almost got brained by like.
They have a lawsuit on their hands, yeah.
Exactly. So other than that, yeah, this is something I definitely could have. I probably would have been a better person without watching it.
Yeah, it was.
It made me want to drink.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know. Is Rhino like? I don't know. And the match itself feels like James Storm does a concerto, which is like a super finish like type of thing, but the crowd didn't even react to it, and that wasn't even the finish. So I don't know. It was whatever. We'll see how that progresses. I guess
where we were like, what did we just watch?
Yeah, everyone's just like dumbfounded by the direction that this like I said, the action in the match wasn't bad. It was just a weird direction they took it creatively.
Well,
I thought.
I mean, I can answer your question because the very next week I watched the next episode of a TNA, and then it turns out Rhino came out to enter Sandman.
Oh,
started chugging,
I don't remember
chugging
that.
beers and like making out with chicks and braining random people with kendo sticks. So yeah,
right. Had the American flag Zubaz pants.
Zubaz, exactly.
Yeah.
Which he just happened to have plenty of.
I bet. Who doesn't?
Yeah. So anyway,
well, we cut backstage to Crystal. I think her name is the interviewer. says there's some scuttlebutt that Pacman Jones is here to repair his reputation. That's why he's here in TNA. And then Truth walks in. Our Truth, who's around at this point. He's pissed. Ron Killings, he's pissed. He says, Pac-Man, he says a lot of things, but ultimately he's like, Pac-Man ain't nothing but a thug and a guy that catches a ball. People should be talking about me, not Pacman Jones. And so it's setting up the segment for later. That Truth is not too pleased. Like TNA commentary is hyping up all the media attention they're getting from Pacman Jones, but Truth's like, y'all should be paying attention to me. What? Or what's up? That's what he says. Made him stone cold for a second. Man. A question. What do you think about this?
Wow, Tori Wilson. Really...
That is Tori. I was thinking Mickey James.
No,
but Tori Wilson. Yep.
Tori Wilson really got on the juice.
I mean, so Billy or whatever, what's his name? Kip James here is we got a tag match. We got LAX, Hernandez and Homicide versus the Voodoo Kin Mafia, BG James and Kip James, otherwise known as the New Age Outlaws, with Roxy Laveau ringside. Conan's no longer with LAX. Don't know where he is. Probably just said enough of this shit. Can't blame him, but just a kind of a random match here. Honestly, a really nothing match. The Billy Gunn attire was my main note. But I don't know. What do you have any other thoughts about this one?
Actually, the other thing I had was like how small Homicide looked in compared to like the Voodoo Mafia. I felt like I was watching like, you know how like BG James said his name was. I keep thinking of him as Road Dogg, but
yeah, you get to say Road Dogg Billy Gunn. We all know.
Okay, well, yeah. So Road Dogg versus Homicide. I'm like sitting there laughing because I feel like I'm watching like El Gigante versus Sting.
That is like, it's crazy that these two live in the same era.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, I was always a big Homicide fan because I watched this stuff in ROH, but I didn't realize I was watching him have like these amazing matches with Low Key and Bryan Danielson and all these other guys. I was like, so you see him in front of like actual like big guys, and it's like, oh my god, he's fucking tiny. So I was so distracted by that the whole time. Like for there's this part of the match where he gets put in a bear hug, right? And I swear to God, it looked like he was getting burped. It was just...
You might have been,
but yeah, maybe. But then there's this one part of the match. I think it was Kip James, Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn hit Homicide with one of the nicest fucking jackhammers I've ever seen. Even better than like Goldberg and like doing his shit. But yeah, it was like that was like my highlight, a random jackhammer. Other than that, I just didn't give a fuck about this match. Yeah,
like I said, there's really no backstory here. It's just two extra teams that were thrown on the card for whatever reason. Billy Gunn's out here. If you're just listening, he's wearing blue trunk. Here, let me. It's blue, like trunks with blue. What would you call that around the knees and ankles? Like it's like bell bottoms almost, but with the thigh cut out, but also flared. With a strand catching. Yeah, flared, but it's like baby blue. Very interesting. Everybody else is just wearing nothing but black, and he's wearing this, so it stands out particularly in this match. But it was a very interesting choice.
That looks like something like, you know, like strippers buy on Temu for $3. You know, it's like
that's
now I know where to go tonight. Drinking and Temu outfits.
You're gonna buy this. Am I gonna see you with this outfit if you ever come to Virginia and you're in Sterling or whatever?
You know what?
Walking around this.
A surprise isn't a surprise if I say anything. But yes.
But yes, it is in the mail. It's coming to me right now.
That'd be great. Like if I could somehow get over there and do a live show, because not that kind of live show, but you know, like, because it's Sterling is in my future. I still have to go. They just delayed it because certain executive orders and certain political bullshit. So anyway,
don't get me started, brother. This is my last telework day for a while. Everything's fine.
That might be for me too. So your D-Day was also February 10th. I see.
Hey, well, any hoozle. Speaking of Trump, we got Roxy Laveau here, and
her involvement trumped anything that happened in this match.
See, this is why you're a fucking professional. I knew you were due for a home run at some point, and that is gone. That is in the water, sir.
Tranquilo.
That's a 6 shirt. Little, it's a shout out, Naito. Shout out.
Naito.
Naito.
You're past your prime. Get out of the match. Sorry. Are we doing a Wrestle Kingdom review? Because I got a lot to say about that too.
You know what? Let's just transition into Wrestle Kingdom. So,
all right.
No. It's Voodoo Queen's here with some vague white dust to the eyes of Hernandez, and Billy Gunn capitalizes with maybe the shittiest famouser I've ever seen. He was doing so good. He had that beautiful jackhammer, but him and Hernandez, they were just on two different pages here. But whatever, he hits it. And I think VKM gets the win. I don't know, who cares? Yeah, they do. Because Billy Gunn gets the win here. But then Hector Guerrero gets in the ring, who's like the Spanish commentator. He's like, "Ay, bienvenidos. Ay, ¿dónde está la biblioteca?" He's like talking to the ref. He's yelling at him. And he's like, "The powder in the eye you didn't see?" And the ref's just like, "Oh, I didn't see the dust, but your word is gold, Hector. So I'm going to believe. I'm not going to even review the tape. I'm just going to take your word for it, Hector Guerrero." So they restart the match because of the dubious means earlier. And then her Homicide's able to capitalize right away with a victory roll on Billy Gunn. And LAX gets the win, actually, coming out of this. So a lot of hats on this one, but
yeah.
Could have done without it. It affected my life zero, this match.
I felt like I watched like an episode of Ozark because of a cartel member getting upset because of misuse of white powder. Like, yeah, but like, why doesn't like? All right, so if the ref's gonna take Hector Guerrero's word for it, which is fine, why is it that not every single match gets interrupted by somebody somewhere seeing somebody do something wrong and coming out? You know what I mean? Like there's like every match, a heel's always cheating. Why is it that another fucking Hector Guerrero doesn't run out and be like, "Hey, he cheated," and the ref's like, "Oh, okay, restart." I'm like, you just undercut yourself again badly. Where like now everything else you do doesn't make any sense. So it's like I hated it. I was just like, get this guy out of here. The referee's call is final. Keep it consistent so you don't book yourself into a shit just because like it's the same thing. It's like, why is Karen Angle doing all this shit just to get her on TV? Hey, we got Hector Guerrero here. Let's get his ass on TV by making him come out and do something.
Yep. I don't know. Look, all I could say, DEI strikes again is what I think the situation is. So if it's just to appease them, right? Get them out of here. Who's with me? There we go. He fist bumped me. But I agree. There's just unnecessary elements to it. It could have just been a match. Just do a match with a pin and a finish. But
I feel like I could have said this many times during this event, but like, if you had taken that segment out, would it have changed anything?
No.
And that's the underlying theme of this whole fucking pay-per-view. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Don't worry. We got some actual wrestling on hand next. We got a humiliation match.
Oh.
It's a humiliation match. Did you capture what the rules of this match were?
I took notes on this match, and it was just the word boobs.
The flotation floozy is here, everybody. As commentary repeatedly calls her, Tracy Brooks. She's here with her man Robert Roode. It's gonna be Robert Roode versus Eric Young, which every fucking pay-per-view for like a year, these two have fought each other, and I'm so done with it. There's just the same thing as Robert Roode is the big bad Wall Street guy. Eric Young's the lovable goofball. This storyline peaked months ago, and we're still here. And it's not even. What is this? The culmination? It's a humiliation match. So it's just a normal match, but the loser has to get tarred and feathered.
There's two true humiliation matches I could think of in wrestling. One is a 1, 2, 3 kid versus I already forgot who it was. It was like I think it was maybe like Ted DiBiase was involved.
Oh wait, he was with Ted DiBiase. 1, 2, 3 kid was
Marty Jannetty. I don't know, like
Razor Ramon.
Why the hell did I think of Marty Jannetty? Oh, drunks. Anyway, so
crybaby match. Crybaby match.
Yeah, and like, see, that's a humiliation match. Or on top of that, the kiss my foot match between Jerry Lawler and Bret Hart. There you go. But then this one, where you get tarred and feathered, somehow someone looked kind of hot getting tarred and feathered. Oh, just saying a lot about me. So it's not. It wasn't Eric Young. It wasn't Robert Roode. So don't get.
I'm cutting that out.
No.
I want to make you look as terrible as possible.
I do that on my own.
Have you ever been tarred or feathered?
I've been embarrassed in my life, but not tarred and feathered. So no.
I feel like, is this embarrassing to have honey on you with feathers? Was this fucking worse. Looney Tunes?
It could be worse, but I'm thinking, like, who booked this shit? Like, if that's their worst fear, oh hell. They might have a fear of chickens.
Well, Eric Young says in the promo before this match, he says he was bullied in high school and he was tarred and feathered on Impact. And he said that brought back memories of being bullied in high school, and he's going to do whatever it takes for that not to happen again. Which, first of all, he already got tarred and feathered on Impact. Yeah. So, like, we've already seen it.
Yes.
So is this just going to happen again? Like, who cares? Like, he recovered from it, obviously. So, like, the stakes are stupid. The match was okay. Like, it's two fine wrestlers. It's actually like a pretty decent wrestling match, honestly.
They were really good. It was like a very smooth match where it's like the wrestling was awesome.
Yeah.
Of course, we got to put a hat on a hat on a hat, but other than that, no, it was great. It was just like back and forth. They were doing everything from like freaking like reversals to good strike to good like strike exchanges and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought it was awesome match.
It's an old school wrestling match, which this show kind of needed it until the finish. Yeah. When I think every single heel tactic was brought out, because Eric's on the top rope. Tracy Brooks distracts him, shoves him off. Eric flies off the top rope into a low blow from Robert Roode. Is the ref looking at it? Who knows? Low blow, and then Tracy's distracting the ref after she throws in brass knucks, and then Roode grabs or white knucks, I guess. And Roode puts it on, punches Eric Young in the head with it, and gets the win. So we got ref distraction, shoving off top rope, low blow, brass knucks, distracting ref, all to get the win over Eric Young, which, whatever. It was fine, I guess. I've seen worse finishes. It just felt like a lot. And then afterwards, because this is what we're all building to, as Robert Roode puts it, this is what everybody has been waiting for, which I highly doubt that. So Eric Young loses, so he's going to get tarred and feathered again, which, again, I've already seen this, who cares? But Gail Kim comes out to save Eric Young. She doesn't want him to get embarrassed again. Robert Roode grabs her by the hair, and Tracy holds up Gail Kim for Roode to just punch her in the mouth, but Gail gets out of the way, and Robert Roode punches Tracy in the face. Again, I feel like every time you're on, there's some sort of man on female violence of some sort, but very thematic. But then Tracy's knocked out, and we get this crazy camera angle where Tracy's on her back, and the camera is like right behind her cleavage, like horizontal. It's all oiled up. I mean, it's just, man, very on the nose here. Eric Young low blows Robert Roode. Robert Roode scurries away. Tracy's still knocked out, so that they decide to pour honey all over her stupid fake tits, and then rip a pillow from above and covers her in feathers. So Tracy Brooks, was humiliated, I guess, even though Roode won the match. So none of this mattered, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, for instance, how the ref distraction, I knew what the ref was thinking. The ref was totally thinking, wait a minute, didn't Raven just brain somebody with a kendo stick earlier? Yes. wait, what's going on here? But anyway, that and like, Gail Kim totally did a Hector Guerrero this match, where same thing. It's like, let's give them something to do. It's like they're here, they're in the back. Let's just bring them out, blah blah. Because she didn't add shit to this. I mean, because think of it like this: there's something could have happened where Roode would accidentally hit Brooks either way. They didn't need Kim for any of that. But I mean, as if anytime I've been on your show, hasn't told anyone already. One of my favorite parts of the match was seeing Robert Roode just completely just like haymaker Brooks like in the mouth. And look, that visual was awesome to me. It just looked hilarious. So I love that part. I'm very, very convinced that whoever produced this match does have a chicken fetish. Shout out Amish Roadkill, because
What? Is that what Roadkill was? Did he fuck chickens?
well, like if you watch like like ECW matches, the fans would chant "You fuck chick" or like "You fuck chickens" or something like that. I forgot how the chant goes.
Right.
And like Amish Roadkill would look at him, he'd be like nodding like yeah I do. Like
yeah, I
but
guess.
but anyway, no, it's yeah, and then of course that camera angle with Miss Brooks and then seeing her tar and feathered. I bet you this guy had a chicken fetish, and this match was like a good like 3-minute beat off session for him.
Probably. I mean,
Shout out Vince Russo.
Hey, no kink shaming here.
I guess
I'm saying? You like what you like.
Shout out Black Rain.
Well, speaking of which, speaking of Mr. Black Rain, we got his debut here. It is Black Rain, otherwise known as Dustin Rhodes, otherwise known as Gold Dust, versus Chris Harris. Man, oh man. You're a big fan of this, huh?
I mean, I can't get out. I had to get out of my seat for it. Literally. There you go.
Tranquilo. I wanted to hate this, but there were some elements that I liked about it. But it was weird. I don't know. First of all, I guess the backstory, if there is any. Dustin Rhodes interfered in a match. I think it was at the last pay-per-view. Cost Chris Harris the match. And I guess, so Dustin Rhodes was in TNA a few years ago, and his last appearance was when he was teaming with Chris Harris. So I guess that's their link. And then Dustin's like, Chris Harris is in the spot that I should be in. It's like, why is it him specifically? I don't know. But, and then Black Rain's like, look, I got alter ego. People say I have split personalities. Well, you're going to see it, fella, which I don't know if that's playing on his like alcoholism or whatever. It's like a sober version of him and a drunk, whatever. Again, playing off of these vices that they really have.
Maybe he was dressing up as Rhino.
Could be. I mean, that's layers. Now that's like Inception.
That's what I'm saying. Sorry, I didn't mean it. I interrupted you for like
no.
4 out of 5-star joke.
No, that's why you're here. That's why you're the you're the Miz of wrestling podcasting. You'll get the job done, I guess, right? No, but Black Rain comes out. Opposite, obviously TNA. There's like tunnels on opposite sides of the arena. Chris Harris comes out of one tunnel, and then he's looking in the opposite tunnel for Black Rain to come out. But Black Rain comes from behind in the opposite tunnel. Black Rain's presentation. What do you think about it?
White Laparca.
I was thinking Fat Grudge myself.
I was thinking about Tall Cyclope.
Laparca actually isn't pretty good.
Right? But okay. The promo, fire. If you watch the promo video and like what you alluded to earlier with Dustin talking about his split personalities, it got me hyped. It got me hyped for this match just to see like, hey, he's come out as a really cool character. Then you watch. Then they act. It's like watching an awesome trailer, So you can't wait to see the movie. So then you watch the movie and you get like fucking Speed 2, fucking like Wonder Woman 1984 or some shit. Like I'm trying to think of any other flops, but yeah, the presentation. Oh man, it's just he's just not intimidating because it looks so out of shape. And he's wearing clothes that are like really baggy on him, looking like he's wearing a giant trash bag. You know what I mean? So it's like I couldn't take him seriously whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like almost like if he was in better shape, I think it would have been a pretty sweet because like from the neck up, I mean the black wig where you can't like see his face, it looks pretty menacing. Like I said grudge, but it's like very grudgy.
Nice.
Black and white, obviously it's evil gold dust, is pretty much what it is, but like you said, he's out of shape, so it's like baggy, it's like not tucked in, it's not tight, it's just like a trash bag, like you said, it's like pretty much what it is. So but it's barely a match. I mean, he Pearl Harbor jobs Chris Harris in the back and beats him down on the outside, bloodies him immediately, has handcuffs. He's using it like Nux. beats them all around the ring. The ref keeps trying to stop him, but he keeps like shit canning. He like throws the ref into the barricade. Then another ref comes in and he gives him a lariat. And then ultimately, how's this even? Yeah, at some point, Black Reign's got Chris Harris in the ring. He's like biting his forehead. Earl Hebner gets in and just throws the match out because he keeps beating up referees and whatnot, not listening. So I kind of like that element of him not caring about the wrestling match and just wanting to cause damage to Chris. He comes off very rabid, which I like. I like a lot of the elements of his character and how it's presented, but again, it's the mechanism of the character being out of shape. Dustin Rhodes, I think, hinders it a lot, unfortunately. But like the music, the promo, like you said, was good. It's like almost good, but just not quite there.
I mean, on top of that, too, it's like it was just his offense. Like, if you're gonna be like a big monster, you gotta sit there like hitting someone with rabbit punches. Like, something like he's like, oh my god, he's indestructible, and or it's like you know what I mean, or he's hitting with the shittiest stomps I've ever seen. You know, so it's like obviously he's not in shape to do this. So it's like, and here's what kind of bugged me too. It's like in the middle of this massive beatdown, he hits Chris Harris with a bulldog, right? You know, it's one of the Panda's bulldogs. I'm sort of like, when you're a monster and you're hitting like a finesse move like that, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know. It just looks weird.
Right.
It's like seeing Jacob Fatu hitting like a fucking like Bronco Buster. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, it's like, he's distracted. You can't stop him. And now he's putting his dick in his face. What does he do? What?
That would probably cause damage, though, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, it probably would. The guy would probably be in a concussion, like in a coma for like a couple weeks. But the point is, it's like monsters don't do bulldogs. I'm sorry. If like you're getting this guy killing someone, you're not. I think so.
All the monsters that are listening are going to be upset.
Oh, I don't know. Like, of course, there was that one event TNA where Abyss hit a flying head scissors on motherfucking like Samoa Joe, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
But yeah, so it was just. This didn't hit whatsoever. I couldn't take it seriously, and what sucks too is that Chris Harris is a quality, talent by far.
Yeah.
So if he's gonna get destroyed completely with absolutely no offense, this is not the way to go.
Yeah, and because I've been watching all this chronologically, and we're like pretty fresh off of AMW splitting and them going their separate ways. And I'm watching this. I'm like, where does it go wrong for Chris Harris? And I think this is it. I think this match, or this feud, I guess, is probably what kills him, unfortunately. Yeah. Because, like you said, he just got completely squashed by old fat Goldust in black and white, which is kind of like, this match really does a good job at like encapsulating the issues of TNA in this era. Old WWE guy, past his prime, versus homegrown, up-and-coming guy from TNA, and then we all know who wins in that scenario. So, unfortunately, that's just their formula. I don't know, man. And then, by the way, Black Reign has this crazy fucking spike with him, which it's like, what is it? Like a club with like a
little Asian hand.
Yeah, an Asian hand.
Holding a little butcher knife from Chinatown. It was pretty ridiculous. I couldn't even take that seriously. It's like how can this be a joke when it's like it just kind of writes itself? It's just a little hand like holding a knife. He's trying to, and he actually. Well, I was waiting for someone to stop him from hitting Chris Harris with this knife, basically stabbing the guy.
Yeah,
but no one stopped him. It happened, but then luckily he turned the knife the other way, so it hits him with the edge of the knife. So it's like, all right, cool. It's like at least no, there's no stabbings today.
That's another thing. It's like he hit him with the thing, but the butt of it, so not the blade. So what is he, too much of a pussy to kill him?
I mean, if you're gonna book yourselves into that situation, if you're gonna bring out a knife, what are you gonna do with a knife? It's like here's a shotgun. What are you gonna do with it? Barrel.
Right, exactly.
Back of the shotgun, it's just like, if you don't want to look stupid, don't bring it out. Like he had something at home where it's like, oh, look what Marlena left me. It's a little fist with a knife on it. Let's use this on TV.
What do you think they use that for?
Fisting. Anyway, so
okay. I see.
I didn't think if you had to pay me like what are odds of Charlie saying fisting in a podcast?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It would have been easily like negative -600 bet on that one.
Well, whatever. I guess Black Rain technically gets DQ'd, but I don't know, man. It was just another
But
weird
the
thing.
one thing that I caught was like Sanjay Dutt. His, he totally corpsed during this. Like,
because Dutt, Lethal, and Kaz come out to break it up. Yeah,
they come and break it up, and you got one guy like trying not to laugh the whole time. You see Dutt, a huge smile on his face, and then they cut to the next segment. They're like, oh shit, he's laughing. He's doing what we're all doing in the back.
Yeah. It's like, nobody can take this seriously. It's so silly. But can you take 2007 Dudley Boys versus Steiner Brothers seriously is the question.
I felt like that that YouTube thing, Honest Trailers.
No, I don't.
That? So Honest Trailers is just a guy who like does a trailer for every single movie, but he says what they really should be, what these movies really mean. You know, so in this case, before this match goes, it's like two of the greatest tag teams to step in the ring, and like I'm thinking of Honest Trailer, like two of the greatest tag teams way past their prime, trying to do a trying to put an articulate match together at half the speed, coming at you next. It's like because I wasn't excited at all. I mean, if it was prime Steiner Brothers, then maybe. So was it 1995? I don't know.
I was gonna say, like, I think this match would have peaked in 97 because that's when the Dudley Boys got together, and the Steiners were still around. They're probably not peak Steiners, but they're still going at it at that point. So
yeah, so maybe that, like, because even the entrance was already like a dead giveaway when you got two old guys literally limping down the ring, getting ready for a match, and I'm just like, what are we doing here, guys? It's like, you might as well just give them a jobber entrance. At least we don't see that. But
right,
yeah. So anyway, I just but yeah, one thing I took note of for the hype of this match, Billy Ray Cyrus, also known as Bubba Ray, does an awesome Spanish accent. I don't know if it's sort of like your Hector de Guerrero.
Just mine's a little better, I think, though. Hey, come on, man. That's Razor Ramon. It's Cuban, but so the backstory here is that we're fresh off of Scott Steiner's life-threatening throat injury in Puerto Rico. So these two teams were supposed to wrestle each other at Slammiversary, but they couldn't because of Scott's injury. And then the Dudleys come out the next week and they're like, oh, because of Scott's little bullshit injury. And then Mike Tenay is like, he almost lost his life. How dare you? And the Dudleys are like, fuck him. And then now all of a sudden the Dudleys are heel, and all of a sudden the Steiners are babyface. So they've flip-flopped like overnight, which makes sense. I mean, capitalizing off of Scott's near-death experience. So obviously he has the sympathy. But I don't know, man. Like you said, Bubba's before the match, he has his promo. He's making fun of the doctors in Puerto Rico. He calls Rick Steiner half retarded. He calls both the Steiners, he calls them both out of shape, which, I mean, kettle black, but, I mean, they're all four of them aren't, like you said, way past their prime. The match is slow and whatever. I mean, the Dudleys are attacking Scott Steiner's scar from the surgery. So he had like a trachea surgery, and they had to cut like in his like lat area or his ribs or whatever. So he has this like huge scar like on his back, like under his armpit. So the Dudleys are just like punching the scar, which like, is that? I don't know. It seemed a little fishy to me, but I guess you got to capitalize on it, and you can't just like attack the neck, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, just it's a testament to the guys. Like, hey, it's a trachea injury. Let's attack his lat. It's like, I mean, I get there's a scar there, but same thing. It's like, oh my god, he got head injury. Let's put him in an ankle lock.
Right, exactly. Like, do like hot shots on the top rope. Do chokes. Do like something. But I guess if they're like, oh, the audience is going to see the scar, they're not going to understand that it's a throat injury. We got to attack his lat. I guess if there's any point to break out an abdominal stretch, it's now, which I guess was effective. So
look at his throat. No abdominal stretch. But yeah. Well, I'll say this. Maybe I don't know if you'll agree with me at all, but like, even though I complained that they looked really bad coming into the ring, they actually look pretty good in the ring. For what it's worth, like how old they are and all this other stuff, like Rick Steiner was moving pretty well. It was like weird
City from him too, yeah.
Yeah, he was limping to the ring, but all of a sudden when the match goes, he's like moving like it's like, oh look, like headlock takeover drop down. Oh, it's like hitting Taz plexus and shit on people. Look, no, not looking too bad. So I was mild surprised how good he looked, and like Steiner did his thing. You know, he's still a big power guy, so he always was lumbering around the ring.
Well, he broke out the old Frankensteiner from the top rope, though.
Yes. So it's like, and it didn't look horrible. It wasn't like embarrassingly like Black Rain, but you know, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it wasn't the worst thing I ever saw, but okay, I want to know if you caught this, because I'm always catching these weird things. All right, so there's a part of the match where like uh Rick Steiner's going for a pin. I think it was someone's going for a pin, and then Brother Ray comes in and stops the pin. So in response to this, Rick Steiner goes for a double leg, but instead of doing for the actual drop, he bites Bully Ray in the dick.
Right.
Yes. And like, that was the most random thing to do. And on top of that, if you're going to do something so crazy, why don't you just put it over? Like, as in, like, he's biting him in the nuts. He's biting him in the nuts. No, it was just a casual thing. If you're gonna do something so outrageous, it's like sitting there, like, here, I'm gonna give this guy a shocker, right? Like, and then like, and then, like, not put it over whatsoever, like as something like, oh, it's a regular thing. It's like as regular as a fucking punch to the forehead. But
maybe Bubba didn't know if he hated it or liked it. Maybe that was the thing. Maybe he was conflicted.
He's like selling you like keep going keep
oh no, don't do that.
right there. So it was man,
it's effective. I mean, if you're in a fight with somebody and they start biting your dick, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's gonna freeze you at least.
Exactly. I haven't been there lately. So anyway, this match, like, they didn't look half bad. Where I think they did like a Doomsday device in this match. I think
Dudley's did, yeah,
the Dudleys did one, and then same thing. The finish was what a bulldog off the top rope. I think where the guy had him on his shoulders or something like that.
Yeah, like the electric chair bulldog deal. Yeah,
which was pretty clean. And like, so in the end, it was like, this is the total opposite of all the other matches where like huge hype, shitty match. This one was like, I expected absolutely nothing, and it got a little something out of it.
No, yeah, I agree that the ending stretch, like you said, I mean, they're moving as good as they could, and you know, suplexes and the top rope stuff. I mean, it was surprising to me too. So they set a low bar, like you mentioned, and they exceeded it. So
exactly,
that's terrible though. Yeah, I mean, they knew what they were working with. I guess they were self-aware. They did the most with what they had.
I think so. And then they got away with biting someone with a dick and nobody calling it out.
Look, if there's a dick bite in a match, that's an added star, as far as I'm concerned.
I give you that. Mrs. Brooks, get away from me. No, Mrs. Brooks, don't do it. Don't
Please,
do it.
No step, Brooks. Well, Kurt
Angle's like my stepbrother. I mean, why would I do that? You know?
Ew, I mean, does that feel good? I guess. Mom's gonna come home. Don't worry, we have time.
Wouldn't that be great if like Bully Ray would just do nothing but pin attempts the rest of the match, knowing that he might get his dick bit again?
Well, speaking of climaxing, we got Kurt Angle backstage. He's crying. He's still sad that he lost his wife. He's seeing his therapist, Kevin Nash. So Dr. Nash is talking to Kurt Angle. He snaps him out of his funk. You're Kurt Angle, fella. You got gold medals. Go out there and win those titles. He gives him a rah-rah speech. I don't know. It was precursor to what was it? Main Event Mafia, I would say, probably, right? But I don't know. More on that later. But we got Mike Tenay in the ring. He says that he's something along the lines of, unless you've been living under a rock, you've been seeing all the mainstream media coverage TNA's been getting. And then the crowd boos. They're like, we know what you're getting at, but we don't care about Adam Pacman Jones. So Mike Tenay brings out Adam Pacman Jones. He comes to the ring. And Mike Tenay asks him, why are you here in TNA, Pacman Jones? And then Jones is like, yo, TNA is a trendsetter. I'm a trendsetter. So that's why, I guess. I don't know. And then R-Truth comes out. He says, this ain't a team sport. Because Jones is like, I want to be a team player here. Truth's like, this ain't a team sport. And by the way, your contract says you can't touch or be touched. So why the fuck is he here? Like, I don't remember them calling this out like in kayfabe. I remember it being a thing. I remember him winning the tag titles by throwing money at the guy or whatever.
He threw a football at somebody once, right?
Yeah. I remember this being a thing. I don't remember it actually playing into the story. So it's like, okay, what are you gonna do here? I don't know, man. They just, hey, it's a name. We're gonna sign them and then figure it out later, I guess.
I mean, theoretically, you could sign anybody at that point. Like you know what I mean? It's like Cinder. Yeah. Oh shit! Like Shaquille O'Neal, come on in. Like he's a new WWE signee, right. But you get into within 500 feet of him, you're considered a sex offender. You know what I mean? It's like what the fuck? It's like this is another example of them booking themselves into like nothing, where it's like all right, but it was great though because I think. Pacman's supposed to be the heel, right? Because R-Truth is the face. Like, hey, we're wrestling. Like, you're taking money from our pockets or something like that, right?
I think Truth is supposed to be the heel here.
Okay, so I'm glad I got that wrong. I'm glad I got that wrong because it's like just indicative of what this was. Like, I'm watching with no context yet. I can't figure out who's the face or the heel is, and which is great because now that I know that Pacman was supposed to be the face, while the fans are chanting "You're a bitch" and "Shut the fuck up." It was just so great. The TNA management must have been like, I don't get what's wrong. What did I do here? Like,
football.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So it was, but I think my highlight was so the very beginning of the pay-per-view, you see a bunch of guys in generic shirts that says the word police on it. Right? Yes. They're police. Okay. So they finally come out and do something. They break up this supposed fight between R-Truth and the guy who can't be touched. So, which, you know what I mean? It's like, which, you know, I can't. I'm just trying to think of something where it's like, you know, I get a shirt that says president. And now I'm doing executive orders for the next fucking like 4 years. Fuck out of here.
It was. I'm glad you brought the police thing up because it really is just security guards, just black jeans, black T-shirts that have fucking Arial black font on the front that say police. So I guess they're police. No guns, no badges. They're police. Which I don't know. I guess it's framed as they're like Pacman Jones's like personal security or whatever. And like you said, Truth. He's talking shit. Then Jones like, why don't you come do something about it, even though we've already established that there's no touching going to be happening. But yeah, why don't you come in and act like you're going to touch me? And then Truth starts walking towards the ring and just gets annihilated by these cops. I mean, just, I don't know. It didn't feel good seeing the black man just get fucking tackled by a bunch of black guys or a bunch of cops. And I don't know. It was interesting. But I don't know, man. I know they end up being a team. I don't know how that happens. But
that's right, they were a team. That's the whole football thing that we were talking about, and the whole
tag team champions. These two end up being
respect.
I don't know, but we're not done with that because I guess we'll just talk about it now. At some point, like this whole thing happens, another match starts, and within the match, they cut backstage where Adam Jones has been beaten up allegedly. Like they cut to him and he's down and he has blood on his head. And he ends up getting stretchered out, which I thought was very dramatic because he clearly wasn't like, he just had like a little bit of blood on his head and he was like, ah. But then they put a neck brace on him and I don't know, it was the whole thing.
I love how you sold it better than the guys who actually put him in the ambulance. Because the guys in the ambulance, you know, if you see someone get beat up and you got to rush someone to the hospital, whatnot, you're gonna have some kind of urgency in your head or in your mannerisms or anything. These guys put them in the trunk. Stone Cold on their face, like it's another Tuesday, whatever. And I'm just like, all right, you know, if you're gonna do something, be all in on it. So you sold it way better than these fools in the back, and I'm like, all right, they didn't give a fuck. They might as well just corpse just like Sanjay Dutt in the back, just laughing his ass off all the time, you know.
Maybe it was Sanjay that did it.
It could have.
That's my leading suspect. I think I don't remember how it exactly plays out. I'm willing to bet it was like a fake injury that him and Truth are like in cahoots.
Is that what
I don't know how that would lead them to be in the tag title picture, but I'm sure they'll try to do that. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll keep you abreast of it as we move forward here.
Shout out Miss Brooks.
Flotations.
What other names did they give her during that match? It was like one-liner central during that match. Anyway, go ahead.
Were there any that Flotation Floozy was the only one I remember.
That's the only one I remember too, but I remember they just kept going. It's just boob jokes the whole time. Anyway, it was
love boobs.
Best part of that match. Eric Young.
Well, I'm interested to hear what your favorite part of this next match was.
Oh, I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Doomsday Chamber of Blood match. What's a Doomsday Chamber of Blood match? Well, I'll tell you. It is it's a 6-man tag match, whatever. But you got to make your opponent bleed before you can get the fall. So it's like a first blood match mixed with a normal match kind of deal. Oh, by the way, there's a cage with barbed wire up top. So that's the situation here. And we got Christian's Coalition, which is Christian, AJ Styles, and Tomko, versus the team of Abyss, Sting, and the Punisher, Andrew Martin, otherwise known as Test. And what I believe is his only TNA match.
Really?
It's very short-lived. I don't know if he has another match on Impact after this or what, but he's not in TNA for a long time.
I 100% believe you. After watching this match, hey, we don't want this guy anymore. It's like, so first things first, when he came out, I could have sworn I was like, wow, Chuck Palumbo signed with TNA. Like, I seriously thought it was his ass right down the ring. Yeah, this match was here's this was gonna work. This is what I think of that match. Hold on, let's see.
Oh boy,
it's like, you know how you were saying, like, you know, this is overbooked. You know, putting a hat on a hat.
Wow, on a hat. I like that.
This is what this match was.
Hold on. I don't have that many hats, but we're gonna go hat on hat here. Hold on. All right.
Right? It's like
this will be the thumbnail. All right, so
Doomsday Chamber of Blood. Doomsday.
It is.
Chamber of Blood.
Yeah, it's cage match.
Yes.
Barbed wire.
Yes.
Blood before you get the guy. And the Test is here. Pearl Harbor job before the match. Sting gets locked out. He gets bolt cutters. Christian leaves. There's glass. There's chairs. There's a blackout. Man, if you're not watching on YouTube, you guys are.
Yeah. I literally fell asleep during this match.
I did too.
Oh,
I swear to God.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna try to watch this entire show in one sitting.
Yeah.
It was kind of late when I started it, but I was like, I could probably power through. We got Joe and Angle in the main event. That should be good, right? Just one more match until we get there. But man, it's so because we mentioned all of these hats, right? Yeah. It's a cage with barbed wire. There's shards of glass. There's weapons. There's blood. It's a pretty stacked lineup. It's Test's debut in TNA, even though he looks like shit. But the crowd doesn't give a fuck about anything. And that's just because they don't build to anything. At one point, the glass is just in the ring. I didn't see where it came from. It was just, here's a bag of glass. Just no build up. And I guess we'll just start from the beginning. So whatever, Christian's team, Abyss comes out first. Christian's Coalition, all three of them, Pearl Harbor Abyss before his teammates can come out on the outside of the cage. So they're beating up on Abyss. Test comes out. The Punisher, Andrew Martin, comes out. Dude, he doesn't look good, man. I mean, we're unfortunately like 2 years away from his passing. He's pretty young too. He's like early. I can't wear these fucking hats. He's like early. I'm impressed. That's a good balance on your.
I'm working on it. Go ahead.
He's how old is he here? I have his wiki up here. He passed when he was 33. So
that's heartbreaking.
He's 31 here, and he's so immobile. Yeah. He's bloated. He has a shitty little buzz cut, blonde hair. I mean, it's like when him and Tomko are interacting, I'm like, wow, Tomko is way better than this guy right now. Yeah. So Test makes a save or tries to save the beatdown on Abyss. Lights go out, Sting's in. So now it's finally 3-on-3, but they're all brawling on the outside of the cage. At some point, like people start trickling into the cage. Everybody's in except Sting. So Christian's team locks out Sting from the cage. By the way, throughout all of this is when it cuts to Pacman getting stretchered out. So this is like another hat to add on top of that.
That's right. Should I do another one?
Yes. Get a fedora if you can.
Oh, keep going. I'm listening.
So in the ring, Test hits a pump handle slam onto Christian, which looked pretty good. I mean, most of Test's offense looked fine. It's just his mobility overall was pretty subpar, I would say. But he hits the pump handle on Christian, but he can't pin him because Christian isn't bleeding yet. So
I forgot about that. That's right. The blood stipulation. That's so
I guess they're sticking to the stipulation, I guess.
Good. Consistency. I like it.
But then so Christian's team locks Sting out. And then the bag of glass comes into play. Which, did you catch when the bag of glass got in there?
My answer shouldn't count because I literally, right when I woke up, there was glass on the ground. So I can't answer that. I have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you when I fell asleep because actually I don't remember. But whatever, there's glass in the ring. Christian takes a piece of glass out of the bag, slices Abyss's forehead, which is like, it feels like an efficient way to make somebody bleed. So props to him.
Oh my God. Okay. You should have used that little fist thing that Black Rain had.
Yeah, that would have been perfect for this match. Black Rain should have been in this match. That would have made it better.
That'd be another hat. Let me go get another one.
But then so Sting's trying to find his way into the cage, but he can't climb in because of the barbed wire on the top. But Sting finds some wire cutters, climbs the cage, cuts the barbed wire, and gets in the ring. I think it's at this point when I was like starting to nod off. Because like once Sting gets in the ring, it's whatever. You would think, like the way I'm describing it, it's like, oh, it's like the climax of this match. The crowd's gonna be really into it, but everyone's just like, oh, okay, I guess he has wire cutters, whatever. I guess he's in the ring now. Who cares? And like they don't build to the glass spots, they don't build to the chair spots. It's just say, okay, the next spot. All right, here's slamming some glass. Here's a trash can or whatever. So like there's no ebbs and flows to the match. It's basically the thing here. And then Christian, once Sting gets in, Christian leaves. And it's at that point when I'm like, because I had just woken up. I was like, I must have missed a big chunk of this match because Sting just got in and all of a sudden we're at the finish. I went back and watched it. Turns out I didn't miss anything. I think I fell asleep for like 5 seconds. But it just felt so abrupt that I thought I missed a chunk of this match, but I didn't because Sting gets in, clears house, Test hits Tomko with a big boot, and Christian's like, oh, never mind, I'm out of here. That's all it took for him to just completely leave the whole situation, climbs out of the cage through the hole that Sting made with his cutters. Christian leaves. Tom goes down from a big boot and black hole slam onto AJ Styles onto the glass for the win. By the way, whoever wins the match gets a title shot. So Abyss gets the pinfall. So he's now the number 1 contender for the world title. And yeah.
All right.
Thoughts, I guess.
When I woke up, I didn't miss Test Phoenix 360 or 630.
Unless I missed it. I'll review the tape one more time, but I didn't see any 630s from Test.
I'll stop because you just told me he passed at 33, but I'm just like,
fuck him.
Yeah, that was. So I had just for the sake of this podcast, I had every thought to like go back and watch this match, be like, all right, let's see what I missed. And I decided, fuck it. I'm sorry. With respect to I think it would have been funnier for me just to mention what really happened as opposed to me going back and actually watching it. And like now that you're telling me everything that happened, I get it. Like, because I figured I missed the spot where like, all right, they have a bag of glass. They're showing it to the crowd, and the crowd is like flipping and like, what's in their bag? What's in the bag? They pour it out, and then you use it and then that's what I thought I missed. But you're telling me they just kind of put the glass on the ground and that was it, right?
No, yeah, there was no build to anything. Yeah, it was just, here's the glass spot now, guys.
I think, and then what I remember vaguely was like the commentator's like, well, he's probably bleeding because he's sitting on glass, so the match is over. I don't know. Right? Yeah, because like I don't know if he was bleeding. I didn't care to check, but yeah, like I just assumed that it was because like what the commentary said, he's on glass, so there's got to be blood somewhere.
and like Chamber of Blood. You would think the blood would be like the focus of the thing, and I guess AJ probably got hit with something off camera at some point and happened to be bleeding, because I think they did cut to him and he had blood on his face.
Okay. Well,
I don't know though.
That's that. I guess, if you're gonna put the hat in a hat in a hat, you're gonna find that blood happened. But let me go back to the Chris Harris thing, where like when he was bleeding against Goldust, it was just random. Like you never even knew the kids. Sometimes there's a spot, like a chair shot or something like that. But when Chris Harris bled that night, I think it was just a random punch from Goldust that might have happened like a minute into the match. But then he's like a Crimson Mask, like maybe like 3 minutes later. It's like, hey, when do you get cut? It's kind of bad. So anyway, it's just, I know I'm going back to that, which who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't. Glad I didn't rewatch it, and I promise you, next time I fall asleep, I will rewatch it.
It was just, I mean, the fact that we both fell asleep shows the lack of like energy to this match.
It was bad.
It was just a big. This match was like, it was like a bad cut of steak with like cheese on top and like what else you put on steaks? Onions and whatever topping, steak sauce, ketchup. Rather than just getting like a good cut of steak and letting it speak for itself. It's like, no, we got 6 guys, blood, barbed wire, cage, weapons, outside interference, lock them out, and then nobody cared. So it's like they're adding all these like different bullshit on top of it when the foundation isn't good. So
was this a Vince Russo
yes,
it was. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have had to ask, because just the triple cage match was his idea, and
I mean, is it Russo? I don't know. So we got Pacman Jones. We got let's see. We got a barroom brawl. We got false finish, restart the match deal. We got a humiliation match. We got Black Rain. We got 2 old tag teams facing each other. We got a Doomsday Chamber of Blood, and we got all the titles on the line in one match. I don't know. Is this Vince Russo?
Tony Khan.
Yeah, there was a Ring of Honor title match in between this. It was weird.
Actually, no, the Tony Khan stuff happens after, but just next match. Never mind. I take it back.
Well, we got, I mean, I guess match of the night next. I mean, it's Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. I mean, you can't have a bad match with these guys, even though the circumstances surrounding this are wacky. So we got the TNA World title, the IWGP title, the X Division title, the World Tag Team titles are all on the line in this match. Kurt Angle, whatever. Kurt Angle's like the world champions. Joe's all the other champions. They did this at the last pay-per-view too, which drives me fucking crazy. The last pay-per-view, you had Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe teaming up against the Dudley Boys. The Dudleys were the tag team champions. Joe is the X Division champion. Kurt is the world champion. And the whole stipulation there was whoever gets the pinfall gets the titles of the guy that he pinned. So we did this just last month where all the titles were on the line in the main event. Now we're doing it again. Like, why? Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all the titles being set, like grouped up in one match?
It was a hit the last time, so of course you gotta do it again. Whatever, you go with what works, right? No, it's like you devalue. I think you devalue these championships. When you got, because like here that, or you like imagine that TNA books themselves into another corner. How do you get these titles off these guys? If you're gonna unify all these titles, how do you get them off? Because like now you got to beat this person who happens to have 9 championships with them, right?
Right.
And it's like, okay, if I win this match, I get 9 championships now, right? Because how am I going to beat the X Division champion and not be the heavyweight champion? Oh, but this match was on. So in recap everything I just said, fuck.
All that to say, fuck this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's impressive when you see someone walk around with a bunch of belts, right? But then sometimes belts don't mean a thing. You know why? Because you got some like fat motherfucker in the crowd who spent $400 on a belt and putting on their shoulder. So it's like it's not the belt; it's the meaning behind it.
Yes,
it's the context behind it. So it's same or okay, and the same thing. It's like, okay, now that you put the X Division championship on the heavyweight champ, even though the X Division champion is usually a mid card guy, how the fuck do you book yourselves out of that? it's so that's why I'm like I just thought it was stupid, and all you have to do is just focus on one title, and then that's it. I won't even bring up IWGP. Yeah, I was like, hey, he is the IWGP champion. He is a champ in Japan. Great, that's an accolade. But in the end, it's don't put it in the line in the same match. Well, you know what they should do? They should just have a ladder match and have like 30 belts in the put a 10-minute time limit. The most belts you can get, you're the champion.
Oh, so you only get the belts so if you grab like just one title and then get knocked off, you're only that champion, and then you got to grab the rest.
Yes, because that's how you separate out the titles, or you just put them in a briefcase. What you do is like there's 4 briefcases under each corner, and each person gets one briefcase. So you are the heavyweight champion, and then you got fired and you had to go to fucking OVW. Okay. Anyway, rant over. Jim Cornette, shout out.
You know, it's funny. It was a long time ago, but we covered a TNA show in 2005 where it was Jeff Hardy versus Abyss and a ladder match, and there were like 3 envelopes that you had to grab, and then you had to like grab an envelope and then open the thing and read what it was. It was like it was like one was a title shot, one was a fucking punishment of some sort. So they're not above doing that. So
apparently not. You have to climb up a ladder to get it.
I mean, you're trying to be absurd, but that's like literally what they do. So
that's bad. Exactly. That's bad. All right. Well, so whatever. It is what it is. I just not in Trump's America. I can't watch this.
No. But that being said, yeah, like I mean, I forget how I think they just like vacate the titles after this or something. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what the follow up is. I don't know. I'll keep you updated because I'm interested to see how they follow up. But whatever, the match, whatever, all the titles on the line.
Google who defeated Kurt Angle for the IWGP Heavyweight title.
By the way, the IWGP title here this isn't the New Japan title. It's like a different promotion in Japan. Yeah, it's like it's Inoki's new promotion. I forget what it's called, but it's not even like the real IWGP title. The cage match calls it the IWGP third belt title. I don't know what that means, but yeah, take that for what it's worth. Actually, you know what? Hold on, I'm looking this up real quick. I want to make sure that my ducks are in a row here.
Something tells me you're 100% right. I mean,
cage match. Let's see here. Hard Justice. Let's see here. Third belt title. Okay, so the first champion. Yep. So the first champion was Brock Lesnar. He won it in 2006. Lost it to Kurt Angle, which is where we're at here. And Kurt Angle loses it in February of 2008 to guess who? Japanese fella in WWE.
Shinsuke?
Yeah, buddy.
No shit.
In 2008, that feels like very early Shinsuke.
Yeah.
And then he was the last champion. I think, no, it says he was champion for less than a day. So I think Shinsuke won the title and they just made it defunct.
Oh, but I thought it was like a 24/7 thing where like he got pinned backstage by fucking Great Muta. And then Great Muta went home to his hotel room and got pinned by fucking Giant Baba. The motherfucking, I can keep going all day.
Oh, it's because the Federation became defunct that day. So it's the Inoki Genome Federation, the IGF, lasted from June of 2007 to February of 2008.
Genome,
yes.
So that's another thing. Any New Japan fans out there? There's my boy Yoda Tsuji is known as Gene Blast. The fuck does that mean? I get it. There's a language barrier somewhere, but Jesus Christ, guys.
I'm sorry. The IGF lasted till 2019, but maybe that title just, I don't know, whatever. It's a meaningless title is all I'd say.
Well, that just makes this whole thing worse, you know.
But they're all worthless titles because it's just, here's this title. I don't have enough room for this title. So none of the titles, like you said, individually mean anything.
The Ring of Honor World Champion used to be like the champion. I'm so sorry,
dude.
Like give me Nigel, give me Morishima, give me fucking Daniel
Xavier.
Wait.
Sorry.
Let's not get too crazy here. You know, but like, wasn't Jamie Noble a champ too?
Yes, James Gibson.
James Gibson, right? Like, see that after what they did to him in WWE, he's not Xavier level to me, but he's like
No. Xavier was actually pretty good, honestly, like low key, but he was in comparison to like the Danielsons and all that stuff, he was kind of a tier below.
That Ring of Honor title, that's when it was something. Like nowadays, I don't even know who the champ is. It was Cesaro?
The Learning Tree.
No fucking way.
Yeah, of course he is. Chris Jericho. He's here to save Ring of Honor.
Why is he's
been champion for a while.
I would put it on
two-time champion. Briscoe. 2-time Ring of Honor champion, Chris Jericho.
Oh man, that's like, but at least they're not doing these spots where they're branding each other on ring posts anymore, so that's fine. You know, they're because like that's what it was. Oh, are they? Oh god.
I mean, they're doing probably comparable stuff. I'm sure. I just saw Ricochet get powerbombed on the top of a barricade. That looked pretty brutal.
Okay. I mean, see, Ricochet's making some waves. I mean, at least he's getting kind of push, but like he just headlined Wrestle Dynasty in New Japan, so good for him against Mr. Zack Sabre Jr. So yay. That's sorry going on a really long tangent. I love Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle.
Speaking of Zack Sabre Jr., love Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle. But yeah, what if Joe comes out? What do you think of Joe's the Samoan dancers that accompany him to the ring?
Okay, with all due respect.
Oh boy.
Tradition, great. It looked amazing, right? But if I'm coming out to a match and I'm gonna get into a fight, I'm not doing Becky Lynch's jig before I go to the match. I'm sorry.
Oh, Joe in particular doesn't. He's not jig ready.
It just looks awkward because it's like, once again, traditional wise, like there's a time and a place, and like I get what they're trying to do. It's pretty cool. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, you want to pay homage to your culture, blah blah. But like it just didn't look right. I don't know, because like not only that, it followed Kurt Angle's awesome entrance, hood, all business. Great music, intensity. You're feeling this match. I don't care about any of this shit that happened in the backstage. You see Angle ready for a fight. Then out of nowhere, like Hawaiian style shit. You know, it's once again. Damn it. How do you? I feel like
I know what you're saying, and I agree.
Yeah, because like I don't know if all due respect can trump anything else you say afterwards. Like, hey, with all due respect, fuck you. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. I get it. But I'm trying to come from a good place where I respect people's cultures, but it just did not fit in this. Like, if he didn't do that before this match, would it have felt any different? No. Come out intense, towel over. No, like, don't look at the crowd. Just walk straight to Kurt Angle, face off, nose to nose. Perfect.
Right. Because that's not Joe's character. He's not like, here's my culture, yada yada yada, yada. He's like, let me just storm to this ring and kick your ass. Like, it just didn't fit his character.
Yeah, so it was just awkward. So, oh man, I didn't even want to mention it, but since you asked,
well, the hats just keep on hatting because the match starts and Karen comes out with her new man, allegedly, to these reserved seats that were brought up earlier in the show.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, between Pitbull and Chris Daughtry and whatever, some bald asshole with Karen. Kurt sees this and he obviously keeps getting distracted. He's like, he's calling her a slut, which is just Jesus Christ. He like gets in their face and Karen throws champagne in his face. It's a lot of shenanigans in the beginning, but the match kicks in at some point, and then you're reminded that, hey, it's Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. These are two fucking great wrestlers. And I mean, like, great chemistry. I've talked about a lot of their matches recently. I'm interested to see, because it was just a fun watch, this match, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. Like I loved, it's so simple. Sometimes simple is good. For instance, I remember recommending you a match a long time ago. I think it was Taichi versus Kota Ibushi, where all they literally did was kicked each other. It was just kicks. They just kicked each other, but it just fit into what they're doing. It was intense. It worked. In this match, same thing. Angle and Samoa Joe were just. They're both submission experts. One guy's going for the cocaine clutch over and over again. One guy's going for the ankle lock over and over again. It just flowed. It fit. It was just, even though it did the same thing over and over again, at the same time, it's like it fit to what they were doing, and whatever they did, it just felt like it wasn't boring. It was intense. It worked, and you see Karen, but then you'd mix in pictures of Karen Angle and Giovanni Vinci fucking this match. Whatever, but it didn't. Let's just say, like, it picked up. It started slow, technical, striking, blah blah. Then all this back and forth with the crowd just couldn't. A quiet crowd like this, when you get a crowd like that, who almost fucking was on life support after they were tested by other.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Like there's bored to the abyss. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, yeah, it was they brought the crowd back. They did what they do, and it was just great. I could speak volumes of how great this match was.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, they brought the crowd out of a hole, which is impressive. And it was a main event match, man. Like you said, the chokes, ankle lock, reversals, one into the other was so seamless. The false finishes fit perfectly. They weren't just spamming them for the sake of spamming them. Like the angle slam for a 2 count felt like it could have been the win. Kurt does the moonsault, misses it. Muscle buster for a 2 count. So really close calls here towards the end. Angle locks in the ankle lock. Joe counters it right into a choke, pulls him right in, chokes him. Angle gets to the ropes. And then the ref takes a tumble at some point. Joe locks in the choke. Kurt Angle taps out, but there's no referee. Kurt is able to hit a low blow on Samoa Joe at some point. And then Kurt Angle crosses the barricade. Tries to give Samoa Joe her chair because remember, her and Kurt are estranged. Not estranged, but they're in the middle of a divorce. She doesn't like Kurt. She's here as Joe's guest. So she hands Joe the chair, but then she pulls it away from him. My God. What has she done? Then Kurt from behind hits a chop block onto Joe, takes the chair from Karen, levels Samoa Joe in the head with it. 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle gets the win due to his wife, who it's all a ruse, Charles. They were in coots. It was their plan all along. Who could have seen this coming? Now Kurt is every champion. Kurt is your X Division champion. So, good stuff, right?
I mean, with all this crap that was going on with Kurt Angle, if it went any other way, I'd probably be like, man, what the hell? But I guess it worked. Yeah, I mean, it worked. I mean, it's like, okay, I understand it now. It's like, okay, like it was actually, I didn't see it coming. You know how you're doing your recap saying, who would have seen this coming? I was like,
maybe it's because I know in hindsight what happened, so maybe that's why it felt obvious, but maybe to the viewer not watching it, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, I was more like, man, this is fucking stupid. Up until when it happened, I was like, oh, I kind of get it now. All right, it was all the whole way. It's like, who would see it coming? Where it's like, okay, the story here is Kurt Angle is trying to feign the fact that he's going through turmoil. At the same time, he's lulled Samoa Joe into a false sense of security, like, hey, I got his ass. And then in the end, I'm just using this all along, and then I just made this way much easier for me. Blah blah blah. So I didn't hate it, but here's the underlying theme of this event. If you took all that out, would it have changed anything? No. I don't think so, because like it didn't factor into the match at all, really, other than Kurt Angle kind of looking at them. That's kind of it. So like, let's just say theoretically you take this whole thing out, Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Angle just can't finish the guy. He can't figure out a way to finish him. He gets desperate. Kurt Angle runs in, and then they some kind of distraction. He wins. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it'd be just as effective, and like you didn't have to go through all that shit where it's like doing all these backstage vignettes, bringing in this like motherfucking like bald dude in. So to me, it didn't really matter. Whatever they did, it worked great. The match was good, and it was pointless to me.
Yeah, I'll say this because Joe and Kurt have been wrestling each other for like almost a year straight, so they've had a lot of matches. So I guess maybe it needed some extra something to it. But I don't. So you had all the titles on the line, and you also had the Karen Angle element. I think one or the other would have been fine, but I don't think you needed both. The Karen Angle, huh? Come on, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. So
you're okay if you put it that way. I understand it more now. In the end, it's still like, all right, it's either don't do that or just book a different match. It's like so I see it, but I don't at the same time. But cool. Either way, it brought us to a good match, and I'll take it. And then the ruse kind of like I like being surprised, so that surprised me a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's delightful.
Yeah, I guess setting the viewer up for a false sense of security. What is Kurt going to do? How is he going to overcome this? Like, I get it to an extent. Like, it didn't hinder the match. I don't think, if nothing else. Which,
And then at the same time, it brought this gem where I guess we could have mentioned this way earlier in the podcast, where Kurt Angle goes to JB. He goes like, "Did he have any gold medals?"
I didn't see any gold medals.
That was pretty good. I was like, all right, it brought us that gem, so I'll take it.
There were entertaining like segments like that throughout the show. I think we touched on most of them, but yeah. So that's what it is, man. Kurt Angle's all the champions, and we'll see where we go from there. Any other nuggets on Hard Justice 07 there, Charlie?
Don't bring me back. I can't watch these shows.
I'm retiring.
No. Like, when you asked me what I thought about the show, I thought it was okay. The more that we reviewed it, I'm like, all right, now I remember how angry it got me. But it helped me get some sleep. So that's why I wasn't too upset about it. And like you said, there was a lot of entertaining parts into it too. Like, how would I ever be able to say, hey, I got to see Rick Steiner biting Bully Ray's dick?
Nowhere else you can see that.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, other than watching, like, oh no, I don't want to get into that. Never mind. Hey, so anyway,
it's somehow where they like oil each other up, and whoever gets the pinfall has to suck the other one off or something. What's that called?
I know what you're talking about. Like, sadly, I know what you're talking about. Wait. I kind of want to look it up now.
It's always like some. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I heard from what I hear, it's like I don't know. I don't even know what it is. What are you talking about?
No, that was another joke I was gonna make, but I can't remember the wrestler's name. Oh my god.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, dude, it's not Lars Sullivan. It's
Yeah. No, right, Lars, right?
Oh well, he is in a gay porn.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's
not wrestling. Yeah.
Oh, that's the guy. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, it was, if I want to see that, I could just watch. Like, first I could go look at tweets of Lars Sullivan bashing gay people, then watch the video of him going to town on some guy.
Well, if you want to hear gay bashing and going town on guys, you should go follow Charlie on X, because you'll get all of that. Appreciate you once again.
I'm gonna get some weird DMs, man.
Send all the cock pictures, uncut or cut, to Charlie XO or whatever you are on Twitter.
That's bigger than mine. Oh yeah. So on Twitter, my name is. I gotta check it really quick.
You change it every fucking week, so who knows?
Not anymore. Not lately.
Are you Charlie Dad?
No, you're right. I did change it. Shit. How do I
Charlie _ B96?
There you go.
On the X.
Yep. And soon to be, like, hopefully, once again, I was supposed to a while ago, but due to scheduling conflicts, I wasn't able to. But I'll be doing a GETCHO episode hopefully soon. So
nice.
Yeah, so I still want always want to shout out to the GETCHO guys, just because consistently, no matter, like, I take long hiatuses, consistently they come back and they're always good, always funny, always entertaining. So GETCHO podcast, I'm always kind of a part of them. So
yeah, you're the Hector Guerrero of GETCHO. You come in when they need you, but, like, do they need you?
That's why you don't see Hector Guerrero much anymore. They don't, because they're good without me. I'm just there to change it up a little bit.
No, like, you're always a hoot wherever you pop up.
Exactly. If you needed some random glass in the ground, that's me.
Right. You're the Punisher of GETCHO, maybe.
The Punisher GETCHO, just with a little bit longer longevity.
Hopefully. How old are you?
I'm old. Let's just say that.
Are you older than Test was?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So you beat him. So fuck him, I guess. Right. Once again, thank you to Charlie from the GETCHO podcast for joining me on this show. Always a good time with Charles Barkley. Go check out the GETCHO podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff. Follow Charlie on the social media as well, separately. It's about all I got. We talked a lot of bullshit on this episode. This was a wild one. This was a wacky one, but I had fun, and hopefully you did as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Have yourself a blessed day. I bid you adieu. Mwah. I'm hard.
Yeah. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.